Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav by Media and Entertainment Skills Council. This is Pooja Arora welcoming you all on this free workshop for 5 days with leading photographers of the industry. We are going to have different kind of photography workshops happening throughout this week from 5 to 6 p.m. And today we have a workshop with Mr. Radhakrishnan Chakyat ji. He is going to teach you things that they don't teach in the photography school. And here I have Sir sitting right next to me. And Radha sir, I welcome you here on the platform of Vidyadaan. Vidyadaan is actually a platform where we have leading experts sharing their wisdom. And having you is really an honor for our platform.
Hey, thank you very much. I must definitely, begin by thanking you for, this opportunity for sure. And Vidyadaan is both in terms of the name for the website or the platform, and as a concept, it's amazing. I happened to go to a Sanskrit school, and I learned a little bit of Sanskrit. And something which I really stayed with me is one shloka, which we learned called Vyaye krite vardhate eva nityam vidyadanam sarvadhana prathanam, which basically means the only wealth that grows by spending is vidya. So, yeah. And what an appropriate platform to kind of share whatever little I know with the world. So I'm extremely thankful for that opportunity for sure.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. And here, without wasting the audience time, I hand over the session to you for your workshops.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sure. Perfect. So how do I see? I see myself in full speaker. Okay. This Zoom business is always confusing, So I want to also see if everything is perfectly all right in our YouTube channel. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm in full screen, so I know. I can see myself here. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay. How many people have joined? Let me quickly see. Okay. So what I would like all people now who are online to kind of copy the link and share it in your group, because the original link that we shared widely with our group of people, now it's no longer valid, right? So I request everyone who's on this live stream to please do that. And also, Prasanna sir, if you're watching, Prasanna ji, can you copy the link and send it out in your WhatsApp group as well? So, yeah, thank you very much. So today's session is called What They Don't Teach You in a Photography School. But let me start by saying I'm not against photography school, right? I myself have a small online photography education, portal. So I am not a rebel. I am not going to be talking against any kind of institutions. But in my practice, which I've started my photography in the mid-80s, and I continue to be a photographer even now after 35 years. It's possibly because of certain things that I have learned, unlearned, adopted, thrown away, and things like that. I'm constantly learning. In that, during that time, let me also admit that I never went to a photography school. That doesn't mean that photography schools are bad. Definitely, if you have, I did not have the opportunity to do it. I did not have the freedom at that time, both financially and socially, and also even there weren't too many schools in the mid 80s when I was trying to become a photographer. So I went about in the good old-fashioned way. I took a one-way ticket to Mumbai at the end of 1988, towards the end. Well-wisher, who I fondly remember every time, took me to Mumbai. I went around meeting people, photographers in those days, names because I always wanted to do commercial photography. And I continued meeting people, and finally a couple of photographers agreed to take me on as an assistant, and I learned or whatever little I have learned is learned in the good old-fashioned way of being under a guru. So Rafiq Elias, Rafiq Syed, Israr Qureshi, and many other photographers directly and indirectly have helped me in learning photography. So I also at the same time feel that then whatever that I have learned is purely because somebody agreed to share their understanding with me. Hence, I have no right to hold on to that understanding and not spend it. So that's why I was telling you right at the beginning that and I have one more very, very selfish reason for doing it is that I know by sharing knowledge, it's only going to increase, your bank balance. So maybe I also have a little bit of a selfish interest in it, if I can put it that way. Well, okay. So what I'm trying to do, we have 1 hour today. That's what is allotted to me. During this 1 hour, what I will try and do is to kind of give you a glimpse of whatever little I've been doing. I have a website. We'll open that and see. And I will also tell you what I am doing now and get into a few things that you should know, which, like I said, is usually not taught in a school, or it's you learn it by practice. So if you know it, some people know it already, and if you are someone who knows it already, it's fantastic. You can also share something new if you know something. If you want to add something, you can always add to that, and to the rest, it probably will be helpful in some way. So what I'm going to do initially is to kind of, where's my, so I'm going to share my screen and advanced sharing option, and multiple participants can simultaneously. How do I share the screen now?
So just the green chair.
Yeah.
Just the
okay.
up. Yeah.
Sure. And it's advanced.
No, not the right arrow. So just this, just above the share screen, there is an arrow, up arrow.
Yeah.
You just click there.
And I say share.
Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second. I need to just give an approval to. I have to rejoin the meeting to share my screen for some reason. So I'm going to quickly come back, okay?
Okay, but...
Yeah, you can come on to the screen at that time, and I'll come back and you take me in, that's all.
Sure, sir. Certainly.
Yeah, you can come back on?
Yes, sir.
Right.
So here I am having Radhakrishnan sir here on this platform. It's really amazing for all of us. As you all are aware, it's a brainchild. Vidyadaan is a brainchild of our Honorable Chairman, Mr. Subhash Ghai, and under his guidance, we have completed 2 years and over 250 webinars and workshops we have done on this platform. So we are really happy to have you as our audience, and you guys have been appreciating us and always liking our efforts. With your support, with your guidance, and of course with your suggestions, we have been improving. I really request if you all mention what kind of workshops you want to watch next, so we can start arranging for those workshops. Radhakrishnan sir has joined and he'll be here. Yes, he's here.
All right, I'm back here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I had to, because of some technical reason, I had to reformat my hard disk So lots of permission which was given to Zoom and all had vanished. So I had to get that. I didn't realize it that I have to do that. So yeah, perfect. So I can come back now. I am back.
Over to you.
Okay, give me 1 second. And all right. Now I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much. Sorry about that confusion. Yeah, so these are some disadvantages of technology. I'm sorry about that. So what I am planning to do is to kind of share some work with you, which I've been doing both commercially and as an individual photographer going around wherever possible. You carry a camera with you. So I'll share some images and then we will go to the topic and we will discuss. So like I said, I've been a commercial photographer for more than about 20 years, and I used to work in Mumbai. Currently, I live in Pune, which is not very far from Mumbai, and I've been doing commercial advertising photography, which means I do photography for advertisements. So the images that are flashing in front of you are images that I've been doing as a part of my commercial photography profession. Now, I do a whole lot of photography, which includes lifestyle, celebrities. I do a little bit of fashion, people, architecture, etc. Now, these images that are in front of you are shot up as a part of a commercial campaign using a celebrity. So this can also be called as fashion, but I've kept it in celebrity folder because she is a celebrity. So these were shot on location in Baroda in their palace. And Sonali Bande was the model. And we shot this for a sari brand from Kerala. So I'm originally from Kerala. I'm from a place called Cochin. And I came to Mumbai in the end of '88. And for about 11 years, I worked as an apprentice before I started out as a photographer in 2000. So from 2000 to 2018, about 18 years, I did commercial photography. And at the end of 2018, I shifted to Pune and I started a website, a startup called Pixel Viilage. And we also started a YouTube channel. The idea was to create photography education affordable. So we will come to that later, but these are the images that we shot all images are shot on medium format digital cameras. And because, commercial photography switched to digital, completely digital during the early 2000s. And ever since, almost everyone has been shooting digital. So all these images that you see are shot on medium format digital cameras. Phase One was the brand that I was using. So these were shot on the Phase One cameras. But in those times, the resolution wasn't much. I think now you can get 180 megapixel Phase One camera, I think. But these are all shot on 40, yeah, I think it's something like, doesn't matter. I think it's about 45 megapixel, I think. So they're all shot as a part of that campaign. So you can see a lot of celebrities, sports stars, of course, all these people. So these were all shot as a part of a campaign. Okay. So these were all shot. Yeah. All shot in studios. So I had a studio in the center I mean, central Mumbai, and that's where all these celebrities would come, and I'd shoot these images. Of course, this was, John was shot in Mehboob studio where he was doing some other assignment, and that's where we went and shot him. This is Ganesh, very popular South Indian actor, Kannada actor. And of course, you know, Bipasha, Malaika, he's a race car driver. So these images are pretty old, probably about 10-year-old. But, you know, somewhere along the way, I realized that fashion, now these are not exactly fashion, all right? These can be called as retail fashion. They were these fashion, I mean, we were selling something in this, not in true sense of the term fashion. They were basically interesting faces, celebrities wearing a cloth which needs to be sold. But I realized somewhere along the way that I am not probably very good in the real so-called high-end fashion. I realized that, and subsequently a little bit of introspection, I realized that it probably has a connection with my upbringing. Okay, now this is something which I will talk about, you know, in the subsequent session, because your upbringing, the food that you ate, the people that you met, the book that you read, the movie that you saw, and the people that influenced you, they all have some, I mean, they in some way or the other keep influencing you, right? Now, to see a certain image in a certain way, you need to have a certain orientation of your head. If you don't have that, earlier you understand is better, which also means that even if you want to become a fashion photographer, and if you don't have all that necessary ingredients in your brain, then whatever that you will be creating will fall short of that objective. I think I realized that early on, and I realized that what I am good at, or what I really enjoyed doing was creating a story. Basically creating a story using individual models. They can be models, they can be real people, but putting them together, getting them to act out a scene and snapping, or getting a moment out of, or recording or shooting a moment out of that, I thought I was better at that. So I switched to something called lifestyle. And in lifestyle, lifestyle basically means anything to do with directly related to life and the way we live. It can be luxury, there can be different stratas, can be aspirational lifestyle. There are many definitions to it. What I try to do is to interpersonal relationship with people. Of course, there can be a reason for that situation, but here, fortunately, in the beginning of 2010, beginning of 2012, I landed in an assignment which required me to shoot those kind of images. And for the next 4 years, I think till 2017, I continued shooting only that. So I must also say, at the same time, I must also admit that I've been extremely lucky to land in that particular job where, I did not do anything else other than this particular assignment. So it involved traveling every month, going out to various papers. So okay, let me also tell you, this assignment was for Club Mahindra. And there was a one-line brief. The brief said, you shoot the magic moment of a holiday, correct? Now, obviously, they want to create an aspirational lifestyle, so for which we used models. And so there will be a father, there'll be a mother, complete strangers. Okay, you must remember, they meet on one day in the morning in the resort, and suddenly they have two children, a boy and a girl, sometimes a grandparents. My job is to bring them together, make them create actually a family out of. They never met. I mean, many of them have never met each other before that day. So the objective was to create an interesting moment out of it, preferably a magical moment of that holiday. So the remaining images that I'm trying to share with you are a part of that. Okay, so all right. So what I am going to, oh, sorry. So yeah, so these are, okay. So this beginning of 2012, till about 2016, 17, the concept of battery operated flashes did not really exist. You know, till certain brands brought it out and made it really popular. The only way was in those days to use power packs. There's something called power packs, which means you need to carry heavy, kind of battery units, which carries heavy batteries inside, and which will barely, power one unit. If you split that into two, then you get very little power. Or you need to shoot in a place where there is, your mains electricity is available. Now that is not exactly possible if you're shooting out in the open, on the beach, in a place which is away from, let's say, a typical Club Mahindra. All these resorts are either in a hill station or in the middle of a desert, or in a hill station, desert, or a beach, for example, or in a wildlife place. So now, as long as you remain in the within the resort area, you can get power connection. What will you do when you go out? The only option was carry this power pack, which was extremely heavy, and these battery operated flashes were not popular in those days. So hence, in most of these shots, I was depending entirely on the sun god, and the good old way of reflecting light back. So if you look back in this image, there is no, I mean, this looks like, hope you can see my, the cursor, the mouse. This particular, can you see the mouse? You can see the mouse? Yeah? Yeah? All right, I'm assuming that you can see the mouse. So look at this girl's face. You might think that it's a flash, but it's not. It's a polyboard, a huge polyboard which is bouncing the sun back from here. The flare that you see is not digitally created. It is the real sun. So things that they don't teach you, the first learning is probably to know exactly what you are good at. Okay. If you look at those celebrity shots, you will definitely tell me that, okay, it's a nicely exposed shot. We like it. I'm sure in all possibility it's done its job, but they are not, I mean, I've seen better shots, right? But I am very, very, very happy, very, okay, to an extent that I'm very proud of these images, because these images, it required someone to work very hard, very, very seriously into it. So the sun that you see behind this little baby is not a flash. It is actually sun. So we did a location scout. We know exactly at what time the sun is going to appear. Just about, it's a setting sun. This is Goa. So in Goa, you will see setting sun. You don't get to see the morning sun, because morning sun, I mean, that side is the beach. So you will see the setting sun. And we had all these people ready at that point. Everything is briefed nicely. And how much time will I get? 10 minutes max before the sun disappears behind these line of trees. So what is that you have to learn from it is that even if you have the best of equipments and the best of assignments, there is no replacement to planning, a proper planning. You cannot hope to arrive on a location, however interesting the location may be, and hope to get an interesting image. You need to have a plan. You need to know where the sun is. You need to know what is that you have to get. Everyone needs to be, properly briefed So we kept on briefing them. You know, by the lunchtime on the first day, they actually have bonded together as one family. So now that creates, you know, that bonding creates a layer in the image which is not very tangible. As in, you will know that there is a chemistry, but how did you get that chemistry? Well, that is, it's not photography, correct? That's not about aperture, shutter speed, and that's not about your latest equipment. It's about the way you communicate with those people, understanding what your client needs, what is the brief, and communicating that in the simplest possible way with your people. Now, here again, this musician who's sitting here, this is Jaisalmer, and that musician is a local musician. He's a very popular musician there, and I mean, rest are our models. Now, how do you create a situation? You need to have that feeling within you. I mean, these are not, there were no storyboard. I only worked with a brief line which said, create a magic moment of a holiday. So we've tried to recreate that. No, again, no fill flash, no nothing. This again. Okay, so there is something called a dynamic range of a camera, right? You should know how to exploit the maximum out of your camera. I'll come to that later. So here, no fill flash, because I don't have a fill flash which can sing above my 1/250th of a shutter speed at that time. And in this place, I cannot carry all that around. We did carry that around for about a couple of assignments. Then we realized that that's a sheer waste of time. It's going to cost a lot of manpower. And so we started working with fill flash. Wherever possible, wherever there was mains available, we would use a flash. Otherwise, entirely on the camera, exploiting the best of the camera's dynamic range. And of course, a fill using a polyboard. Now, this again, Corvette, you're not supposed to get out of the van because the Jeep, because it's a restricted area. So if you can see this ray of light which was coming through the woods, we were there exactly, stopped the car, took the shot. Same thing again. There's no flare. These are not, I mean, from the reflections or the shadow of the models itself, you know that this is not, created flare. It is actually, we were there and we captured, we could, because we had done the homework. Again, sun is of course here, but you can still see the skin of the model. So we could use maximum, like I said, exploited the dynamic range of the camera. So you should know where to expose. What is a dynamic range? The ability of the sensor to hold the information in the highlights and the shadow. Now, larger that particular range, you say the camera has a wider dynamic range. These days, most cameras have, they boast of 15 stops. That is about 7 from your exposure, 7 stop that way and 7 stop this way. I mean, that's how you can talk about you can explain the dynamic range. So what is important is not the 15 stops dynamic range. It's about where you choose to expose. Okay. Now, let me tell you, during the film time, let me also check how many people are watching. How many? 32, right? Yeah, we have good number of people watching this. Very nice. I'm so happy. We have good number of people watching. Great. Okay. Thank you for joining on a working day, that too on a Monday evening. Thank you very much. Okay. So what is that? So you have in that 15 stops, or let's for argument's sake, let's say 10 stops. It all depends on where you decide to expose. Now, let me also tell you, there is nothing called correct exposure. Okay, that again as a myth. The exposure is what you want. Okay, the emotion. If overexposure is what you want, that's your correct exposure. Underexposure is what you want. Well, that is your correct exposure, right? So it is from that exposure point. Let's say if the camera has got 12 stops dynamic range, you get 7 this way and 7 this way. In a film camera, in the olden days, the film camera had the ability to retain a lot of information in the highlight. Now, the film camera did not have 15 stops. They had about 4 stops. That's the max that you could get. Anything more than that, you could not even print in those days. So we all used to work with a 4 stops range, because anything more than 4 stops, black will become black and white will become paper white. So we have to work within. That's why if you look back in the olden, images of 10, 15 years back, offset printed images, you don't see this kind of current kind of flares, use of flare, or playing with shadows and stuff. You don't really see them. They were all very well controlled within the tolerable limit of printing, because printing, that was where you were eventually the image would end up in. So you would shoot according to your end product. So in digital photography, I told you the film had its ability to hold more information on the highlight. And if you underexpose a film, you can't really take too much information out of the shadow, because in the olden days you had to scan the image, you will start seeing the film grains in the shadow. You can't really open and get lots of information from there. On contrary to that, in the digital world, you can actually extract a lot of information from shadow, but not so much from the highlight. So if you try to pull the highlight, and you will suddenly see a patch forming there, and that patch look very ugly. So when you expose or when you shoot, you should ideally, if your shot is a complicated shot with lots of varied brightness values, then you should slightly pull it and underexpose it, so that your highlight details are retained. Okay, and you can also push a lot of information or get more information out of the shadow. So that's something that you need to know. So this is again a similar situation. We were in all shot. Now this looks like there is a flashlight on the girl's face. The girl child's face. No, it is sunlight. Everything is natural sunlight, where the emotion has given a lot of importance. So how do you get the emotion out of them? There are 2 ways. One, if they are children, just let them be. Okay, if you let them be, they start interacting. They find, they are, because they have a way of communicating. They start talking. They start interacting, and you can be there just to capture that image. Fortunately, the brief allowed me to do that, because it did not want them. It did not. The brief did not want the models to perform any particular action. As long as they are enjoying the holiday, have got an image. So here in this case, the brother sister having a nice conversation sitting by the pool. Again, entirely shot with natural light. Probably there was somebody on the side of the models to throw some light back onto them. Now this will happen if you have gone there and done a small location scout and have figured out sun positions well in advance. Now, even with all our current support in terms of very flexible, highly flexible flashes and lights and battery operated light sources and all that, there is nothing to replace a proper location scout. So you know exactly what to carry and what to expect. Of course, at the end of the day, on the day of the shoot, you're still dependent on the weather gods, but at least you will, if everything comes together, you will be there, you will be able to capture that image. Now here in this scenario, here I used a flash, okay, but only to recreate a sun. Now the direction that I am looking through the glass, the hill behind, is, I think, was on the north side. Now in the north side in India, you don't get sunlight. So most part of the day, probably during Dakshinayan, that is towards, now the Dakshinayan has started. So we will, towards the evening, we will get a little bit of sun on the north side, but otherwise, not in India, you don't get sun in the north side coming into your room. Since this was north and I wanted sun to come in, I used a flash. So what you see as this interesting catch light, let me try and bring this light a little closer to you. Can you see this closer? Correct? Now that light, now this restaurant was on the first floor. It was in the resort. So I took a connection. We had an extra long, stand. So I actually put up a 1200 watt monoblock there to create this nice outline. And we, of course, we hid it behind this, the frame of the window. And we created this light. Now that light fell on the table and bounced back on their faces and created this interesting, reflected light. So that is one advantage if you also observe nature. Now, I don't know how many of us have noticed this, the fact that in India, if you are inside a building, if you really want sunlight to come into the building, it is possible only on the south side of the building. Okay, now this probably is not taught in a school. You will get sun only in the south side. Sun will travel from east to west, all right, but sun will mostly will be on the south side of the building, not on the north side. Only during Dakshinayan, sun will cross the path and towards the end of the day will come to the north side a little bit by throwing some evening sun into your apartment or building, wherever you are. But mostly it is on the south side. So that is something that you must remember, especially wedding photographers going to a church to shoot. Churches have this nice large, Gothic style large windows. Now, if the church is in, depending on the orientation of the church, you can actually pre-plan your shot, because by the time the function, the ceremony is done, the lunch is served, then before the bridegroom leaves the place, you will, by about 3:30, you will get that interesting sun on the south side. You can plan this if you know it already. So a location scout will definitely help. Now, this again is, a very interesting light. Now, I would like to tell you one more thing. This is something which I learned from other people. Okay. Now, in this case, I would like to talk about this very famous, many times Oscar-winning cinematographer, Roger Deakins. Now, Deakins, in his interview, one interview, he has given many. If you have an opportunity, listen to all the interviews. In one interview, he spoke about his childhood, where he was fond of fishing. And I think he would go out and fish almost every day. Now, the thing about fishing is once you there's nothing much that you can do till the fish catches, kind of bites. all you can do is to sit and wait for that bite, right? So what he used to do, I mean, and they used to fish throughout the year. And he used to, during the waiting, what he used to do is to observe the nature, correct? Now, very unlike India, in those countries, there are very distinct seasons. All 4 seasons are very distinct, or distinct, and all seasons have its own color, smell, light, everything is very different. And every season has its own emotions also. The spring and the summer and the autumn and the winter, they all come with their own emotions, colors and cars and things like that. Now, during the fishing, he would observe the nature and how many light sources are there at least for Earth, for our humble creatures on Earth, there's only one light source, right, which is sun. And that one sun, he observed the kind of mood that one large light source creates because of the mood changes, because of the climatic changes. Now, in his movie, all his movies, he said he tried to stay away from the standard 3-pointed lighting, which means like a key light, a reflected light, or a rim light, a backlight, the standard key light, standard 3-pointed light. He said, I'd like to stray. The moment you do that, you know that it is created in front of you. But if it is inspired, okay, and if it is communicating or conveying the emotion which is required for that scene, that's when the magic happens. Which also means that we as photographers should be constantly looking out for light. It doesn't cost any money. The moment you wake up in the morning, some people need a strong cup of chai to, to open, for their eyes to open. Someone needs a BD or a cigarette. Anyway, whatever that may be your choice of inspiration. But once you open your eyes, start observing light. And you will suddenly realize that sun god and nature doesn't have the 3-pointed light principle at all. Everything is bounced, and sometimes it is hard and whatever. So there is a concept called inspired lighting. So they started using that. And to great extent, if you look at the images that I'm trying to nothing to compare with all these international great people, whatever little my own way, I've tried to kind of do that. So you will actually see the light is probably not exactly on the model's face. Now here, if you notice, again, it's natural sunlight. I still remember I had bought 51.4 when we went for the shoot, and I was like trying to shoot at 1.4. And if you notice, this particular light which is falling on the edge is actually an LED light, because LED lights were available, except that the quality of the LED wasn't very good. So I put an orange gel in front. It was not an RGB, it was just a white, yellow, one of those dirty, small panel. A cheap panel. That's all that, in those. All these advancements happened in the last 2-3 years, right? Prior to that, you didn't have too many options. So this light here was a small, light panel, which was held from square of this girl. So that's actually because I've seen it. Because I've seen it in real life, some light, some practical light kind of reflecting, or sun coming through the window on your left, hitting, let's say, a mirror on the side, falling back on the model and things like that. This is that kind of a light. Of course, sun again. Now this is here. I wish I could play I have a BTS of this shot. We had done the shoot. We had packed up. Everyone had gone. It's just me, the model, a model's mother, And my assistant, we were walking back to the resort, and I suddenly saw this girl, trying to kind of play with her hair. The sun had already set here, and I had this 85 1.4 and full open. And I said, look, let's take some pictures. And, I'll just go close and I'll show you how it is just her eye. And this glint in the eye that you see is an LED light. Okay, I had an LED. Fortunately, we were carrying it. We were walking back. The same LED, just switched it on, gave a pop in her eye, and you had a shot. Now, these are things that, again, like I said, may not be taught in a conventional school. You are taught certain things in a very, very strict academic fashion, but there are so many things that you will learn as you go. Here, your first instinct is to focus on the child's eye, right? Because you always have heard about keeping the eye in focus. There has to be a light in the eye and all that. Here, in this case, it's not the eye. It is it's in this that symbol, that, or whatever, that thing that the boy was doing, one of those yo thing. But even though the face is out, you can you still experiencing the emotion, right? So this is everything, like I said, all okay. One more thing that I do as a matter of practice is always shoot raw, so that you can exploit the maximum of which the sensor can offer. So everything is shot raw, processed in Capture One, because that's my favorite software. Not that Lightroom cannot do it. Of course, Lightroom can do it. I just got used to Capture One, so I kept on using Capture One. So it's all images shot with my Nikon D3X. I still use them. D3X cannot shoot video, by the way. It shoots 5 frames, 24 frames, 24 megapixel, 3 to 5 frames a second, depending on the situation. I think about 3.5. I don't think it shoots 5 frames. 24 megapixel, and it is probably 14-year-old. 2007 is when they launched that camera. I still use it, and it gives me fantastic results. Now, here in this case, yes, I purposely did use a flash here. I was in the resort and used this flash. So kept on shooting and kept on shooting. So when you look at these images, you will really see that most of these images are shot without artificial light, and making good use of available light, and making good use of the dynamic range of the sensor. Now, this is not flash, that spark or that bright light that is coming through between their faces. It's not a flash. It's real suns, because we had planned that shot. We knew that's 4:30 or something like that. At that time, the sun, this is Udaipur, sun will be there. We saw it, and then we started setting up the shot at 4 o'clock. Everything was ready. Sun came there, shot is done. So it's also important to pre-visualize that what you want to do there. Again, sunlight. 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 Sunlight and reflection. Sunlight and just a polyboard throwing some light back onto the face. Okay. I want to say, so here in this case, of course, I said, so this is a flash which created that morning sun, and we shot this at 4 in the afternoon, and we wanted a morning sun feel. So now that's what I was saying. If you have observed a certain type of light, it is easier to recreate it. You cannot recreate something which you have not seen, right? At least to me, I cannot recreate something which I have not experienced. I can try. I mean, somebody says, "Mujhe waisa chahiye." If I've seen it, I can immediately, try and do that. So here, in this case, this light was recreated because I've seen this kind of a light, and recreating that was easy. All okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. No, just since I cannot see or nor I can get any feedback, I cannot get a feedback. I need to keep reconfirming if everything is okay. So these are, here in this case, if you shoot with both these children in focus, maybe, I think the same emotion may not have got conveyed. But here in this case, this guy being out of focus did not really matter, it still had the emotion. Whereas in this case, they both are in focus. So you need to really, it's that moment that, you decide what is, this is one is entirely created in the studio. But that moment is that you need to kind of capture. Now, no institute can, or nobody, in fact, other than you, can teach you to kind of record that moment or decide which is that moment, right? It is your constant practice. Like I said, the book that you read, the friends that you have, the food that you ate, there are a lot of things that will, the movies that you saw, the reference that you've been doing, all that will decide, how you see that, or how you interpret that particular moment. These are all shot on film. Now, this is, of course, digital. This is digital again, with a bunch of, people from the theater. We recreated these situations. Again, very little flash. They're all continuous lights, and we shot these images. The very old images. But when it comes to corporate campaigns like this is Oreo Biscuits, a launch campaign in India, they want everything to be crisp and clear and sharp and no blemishes. So you shoot like this. All right, I think I have kind of shown, a hint of work. I think I should, quickly go through this kind of images too. And this is a fashion image shot on the street, shot in Japan. I was lucky enough to travel there on behalf of Nikon. So all these were shot as a part of that tour. And these are images shot. They are all fashion images, but shot with all ambient light, fantastic ambient light we had. So we shot these images there. So I'll show this and then I'll move on to a little bit of talking. How much time do we have now? Oh, we are already overshot the time.
So when we have a celebrity, a legend like you, the time is not a constraint.
No, I'm far from being a celebrity or a legend. Not really. I'm just trying to be. I'm very far. So these are some fashion images that have done. All shot in studios using artificial lights. But again, if you notice, you will again see that that thing that I was following of, no typical three-pointed lighting. You don't really see them in many places unless there are some places which is kind of, this is one of my favorite kind of image. All right, so I think with that, maybe a little bit of architecture where you do a lot of inspired lighting. These are shot entirely with and in a real life situation, in a dilapidated, an old mill in Mumbai. We reset these and shot with just one additional light. So we took a little bit of daylight in and added one light onto it and created these images. And these were for an international exhibition in Germany. Whereas when it comes to these kind of images, well, it is a set, right? I mean, it is not a real bathroom. We had to build a set to a certain scale, light it up, and also give a character to the bathroom, because you need to know who's going to use it. If it is a certain kind of a person, what all elements will go into that bathroom. And because a bathroom is not just a bathroom, it's lifestyle. So you need to depict that lifestyle. So that's why there are books in the bathroom. There are plants in the bathroom. There's a certain way of light. So this shot, now all this while I've been talking about one light. In this shot, there are 12 lights. Well, there are about 6 of them behind me. There are a few from the side, and there are layers made. It was shot in AVM Studios. That's very close to where Prasanna's house. I mean, I think Prasanna's house is there in AVM Studio now. So this was shot there. All set was made, and a character was given to the bathroom, and it was shot. So once you give a character to a place, then it's easy to decide. It's very easy to decide what kind of props that would go in there. What kind of color will that person like? How will they keep their bathroom? All that becomes very, very easy. All right. Now, since I have gone out of time, I'd like to quickly come and tell you a few things, which, because I have to also talk about what they don't teach you in a film school. Like I said, I have nothing against school. I myself have a online photography education website, which I will share in a little bit. We have a website called pixelvillage.com. Once I'm finished with that, I will share that also with you. Okay, so the first thing is, photography as a profession is one of the most sought after profession, especially with the advent of YouTube and into social media and Instagram and all that. More and more people are joining in every day. So we have a wide spectrum of photographers who are in their 70s, still doing commercial professional photography, and there are absolutely newcomers all doing photography. Now, one thing I'd like to definitely tell them is, please don't look at photography as a job, okay? A job and a profession. There are two different things. If you look at it as a job, like for example, someone who driving an auto rickshaw for a living is doing a job. Somebody who's lifting weight is doing a job because that's what he knows to do to have a living, to earn a living. To great extent, a banker, to great extent, anyone who does a corporate job, they all do a job because to earn a living. But a photographer, the moment he considers photography as a job, then I see at some point he will stop learning. So it is, to me, photography, if you're looking at photography as a career, you should not even look at photography as a profession. It is a passion. Okay, a passion which you carry all the time, which means even if your job is done, job is finished, bride and bridegroom is left, or the sun is set, you're shooting, you are in somewhere shooting landscape, sun is gone, still you're not going to pack away your camera. You want to still wait and see, like, maybe there is one more opportunity lurking somewhere in there. So if you consider photography as a job, you will pack your bags the moment everyone says, okay, pack up, done, you're done. Commercial photography is like that, because you have a job to finish. 9 to 7 is the time your studio is available, after which you need to pay extra. So at 5, the producer will come and say, pack up. If you've got all the shots, pack up and you're done. But photography that cannot work like that. Photography is a passion. It's like I said, from the time in the when you wake up in the morning till you go to sleep, you are constantly observing things, which those light that you see, the things that you observe, you will be able to put into use in your photography. Fortunately, unfortunately, it's a combination of art and craft, and there is a huge argument whether it's actually a craft. I'm so sorry. It's actually an art, or is it a craft? I would say it's okay. It can be. It's a good and I like to believe that it's a good combination of both, an art and craft, which also means that you cannot ignore the technicalities of it. Correct? You cannot say, no, I'm an artist, I don't care. But not really. Your fundamentals have to be really, really strong. The trend these days is to look at the so-called tips and tricks in the YouTube world, and go and recreate exactly the same thing that you learned in the internet. I think you should make a sincere effort to learn the fundamentals. The advantage of learning a fundamental is that if your fundamentals are clear, if you know how to swim, well, then it's more or less fine-tuning your effort. Even if you're put into fresh water or into sea water or flowing water, it's just a matter of fine-tuning. Otherwise, what you're learning is one type of swimming, then if you happen to fall into fresh water, you will drown, because you cannot swim in that water. Well, I'm just giving you, maybe that's a bad example, but what I'm trying to tell you is that if your fundamentals are strong, you will be able to find a solution in almost all kind of scenarios. For a photographer, seldom things get repeated. In the sense, every time you go out to shoot, you will encounter a new scenario. But like I said, if your fundamentals are right, you will be able to deliver something, rather than, throw your hands up and say that, look, I don't know how to deal with this. Other than that, things that people don't really talk about is about yourself. Okay. I'm sure there are lots of wedding photographers. How many are watching still? How many are still staying here? Not many. Whatever. Okay, there are about 50 of them still there. Good.
Yes, and on our website also there are more people.
Oh, there are a few on the website. Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, all right, great. Thank you very much. So all of you who are watching, I'm sure will agree to this, that in your photo, say let's take wedding photography, and you in your town, village, or in your area, let's assume there are about 15 photographers, all using the same camera, same lens, same gear, same everything, and does similar kind of a job. But not all of them are equally successful, right? You will find one or two doing very good business, very good job. They got lots of clients. Then when you look at their work, you also say, yeah, their work is creatively, my work is better than theirs. Their work is not creatively, artistically. I produce better work. They don't. but they still get more work. How do they do that? Now, and if you look at them closely, you will realize that it is not exactly the photography that's got them. It's about that person. It's about how he built relationships over a period of time. So you have to definitely spend time or invest time on yourself, not only invest on your latest gear. Okay, you must also invest on yourself. How? I would say in India, I'm sure we are all listening to, I'm speaking in English, but there are many people in down south, especially if you go out of the metros or go out of the large cities, very seldom you see them speaking a language which is other than their mother tongue. I seriously say that currently, with anyone with a mobile phone and 100 rupee worth of data can get in touch with the whole world, right? I mean, you cannot deny that. Which means someone seeing your work somewhere in Norway can give you a call and say, look, would you like to come and shoot my daughter's wedding? It's quite possible, right? So you should definitely be in a position to kind of take up that kind of a challenge, which means you need to invest time on yourself, learn another language, and learn on developing your personality. Because when you're doing a business, people love to interact with good people. Okay. When I say good people, doesn't mean that you're like always, no, it's about person. That's something which there is no formula to it. If there was a formula, everyone would have done it. Everyone has their own way, but find that. You have to be a good communicator, which means your communication needs to improve. You need to preferably learn one more language, invest in your time, and work on your health. Okay, because trust me, I've done it long enough. It is not an easy job. You will break your back if you're on a commercial job or wedding photographers. I don't think I can do wedding photography because they are always on a war front. They're fighting a war. So you cannot do it if you are not physically very fit. So I'm not saying that you cannot have vices. Do it, but within limits. Your health, if you have, that's the biggest wealth. Okay, and COVID has definitely proven that beyond any kind of arguments. You cannot. It is health is the biggest wealth. So invest in that too. So work on your personality. Now tomorrow you can lose your camera, but nobody can take your personality away from you. Nobody can take your fundamental understanding of the craft or the art from you. Read a lot, not just watch tons of tips and tricks YouTube videos. Read not just photography related stuff. Read something else. Okay, now when you read books, don't read Kindle. It's absolutely okay, but I'm saying if possible, pick up a book and read. There is a process called reading between lines in two different ways. One, if when you are reading something, it will push certain kind of places in your creative side of your brain and start giving you interesting visuals. Now, two people reading same book alongside need not visualize, have the same visuals in their head. It will encourage you to visualize it in a certain way. Hence, it is important for you to read a fiction, whatever that you feel like. Read philosophy, read metaphysics. Read whatever that you can lay your hands on other than photography, and read. You will definitely start having a different understanding of a situation, and you'll interpret things differently as you read. And travel. Now, travel whenever possible. Don't miss an opportunity to travel. Doesn't mean that you're traveling for photography, but just travel and interact with as many people as possible. And of course, you're already doing it. If there are senior people watching this webcast, I encourage you, I urge you not to stay away from new media. Definitely, because the senior people have a feeling that Instagram and Facebook and WhatsApp chats and are for the so-called new gen. Correct? Not really. It is not something that you do to be known. It is the thing that you do to be known. In the olden days, there was this thing that, I am talented, so if you want me, come to me and I'll give you that. But not now. You need to stand on the rooftop and shout out to the world and look at me. This is what I can do. So don't shy away from that. However old you are, it is very important for you to be known to the world, because that's the norm, well, what else? There are so many things that I want to talk about. What time is it now? We are well past our time. Okay. So I know you come online. I think maybe I can come back and talk a little more on another occasion. There was some initial hiccups because of which we lost a little bit of time. But however, it was very. I'm sure I probably I don't know how much of it was really useful, but I think I made an effort. I thank MESC for giving me this opportunity. I thank you. I thank Prasanna for inviting me to this this event, and to all the viewers currently watching this live telecast, both on your website and on YouTube. Stay safe. It is not yet time to start partying. COVID is still around. So be very, very careful. Health is very important. Take care of your near ones. Take care of your elders at home. We will have enough time left to party. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So every bit and every word coming from your mouth is like just amazing. I've got ample of messages on my WhatsApp and messages on my website that they love this session. Although there are a few questions also that I can see here. If you allow, maybe I'll take
absolutely.
one.
Absolutely.
One thing that we need to know is, what are the career opportunities for a still photographers? It's a question from Sahil.
Okay. There are many. Okay. There are, it is like I said, it's one of the most sought after career. While I was growing up, if somebody asked me to name what I would want to become when I grow up, I would say I want to become a pilot, I want to become a doctor, and things like that. Not any longer. Currently, there was a survey that was done. It was done in the Western world. They spoke to a bunch of youngsters in high school and asked them what they want to become when they grow up. And most of them said they want to become an influencer as they grow up. Now, influencers, there are many different types. Of photography is one integral part of it. Understanding knowledge of photography is very important. Photography is very important. I get lots of requests. Trust me. I need not lie. People want to. I have spent time trying to explain to their parents. The kids get their parents online, and it becomes my duty to convince their parents that photography is a good career to get into. So there are tons of possibilities. You can be wedding photography currently is very hot, very popular. Commercial photography is, though it's a very small opportunity, because you need to be at the top of your game to get the best work. Wildlife and the nature landscape never used to be as rewarding as it is now. If you had asked me like 15 years back, what career can you have in landscape and wedding photography? I would have said, oh, nothing much unless you have lots of money to spend and lots of time to spend. Well, no, you can go out and take some pictures. There were lots of independent conservation specialists who would go out into the wild and take pictures and stuff. But now it's a very well accepted profession to be in. You can convert your photography talent into money, a living, by becoming an influencer. Because through pictures, you can influence the world to do certain things in a certain way, right? Because I interact with a few photographers who are also conservationists. They're doing an amazing job. So e-commerce doing very big. There is the Zomatos and the Swiggies of the world and the Oyos of the world wants pictures every day. So the opportunities are abundant. So there is a career to, just like I said in the beginning, you must know what you're good at. If you are good at wedding photography, but you want to become a wildlife photographer, I would say don't waste your time. The earlier you get that understanding is better. Is there a formula to it? Not really. So sometimes you have to get out, do that, and it's a self-realization that will come over a period of time. But always levitate. If you want that, if you have that urge within you to do that, you will automatically levitate towards your favorite or the subject which you are best at. This is what I can tell you from my experience. So yes, it's a wonderful career to pursue.
It's a wonderful career to pursue, and I'm sure the way it's a stress buster for us nowadays to look at amazing photographs and scroll down before you take a good sleep. Yeah. So for a photo,
now, you must remember is while it is entertaining you, somebody is also making a living out of it.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah,
and nowadays there are many websites that are actually selling the photographs. Can this be done by an individual? It's a question from Minali.
If you are trying to sell on your own, it can be pretty complex unless you are already a very known artist. It can be a pretty difficult. You can send your pictures to famous stock libraries and hope to sell. Now, there the trick is to create a style or a collection which is not. If you want to shoot macro images of insects and flowers and hope to sell it, it may not happen. Because those stock libraries are inundated with those kind of stuff. So you need to do a study as to what is that people want to, people are looking for. What is that you are good at? Are you good at taking single images, or are you good at creating a story? Depending on that, you must create something. And also, you must have the stamina to stay in that game, okay? You cannot hope to put some pictures in and get some money the next week or the next day. It will come provided you stay there and continue to stay there. Let me tell you, I took 11 years to shoot. I may be because of my own incompetency, but it took me 11 years to get my first assignment.
Okay. To believe so, honestly. But it's been a really amazing session. The thanks from my entire team of Media and Entertainment Skills Council and Vidyadaan, and special thanks to Prasanna sir for arranging this session. Yes, Pixel Village is doing an amazing job, and
Thank you very much.
Website. Yes, sir. And we also hope to associate with Pixel Village and Creative Warriors to offer similar programs where people can learn photography.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I request everyone to, can I request people to, I mean, when you become a YouTuber, you also become very shameless. You kind of ask everyone to please subscribe, like and subscribe. So please do. And also share with your friends, and also visit pixelvillage.com. You will see a lot of information there, lots of classes, pre-recorded classes, which you can buy, learn, watch, interact with the mentors. It's a nice platform that we're trying to build.
Right. And yes, so same goes for us. Media and Entertainment Skills Council. Do follow, like, subscribe, as this workshop is happening for entire 1 week. Uh, Here I'm showing you, we have celebrity photographers here for the entire week. Tomorrow we have Prasanna sir himself. He's been a guru on our platform, and he has conducted workshops earlier as well. We have Mr. Prashant Manchikanti as well coming on 15th. Then we'll have Mr. Mukesh Srivastava ji on 16th. 17th, we have Mr. Anil Risal Singh ji, and yes, our very, very favorite Prasanna sir is joining tomorrow at 5 p.m. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching this. We hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much, Radhakrishnan sir and Pixel Village, for this amazing, amazing, amazing workshop.
Thank you very much.
Stay safe, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.